Hi, very good morning. It's Shane from Avstar. You know what, guys? I've got to say, the West is becoming more and more alike the description in the Bible of Sodom and Gomorrah. And just look at this. I just watched a video on how to cook a steak, and these are the invitations to watch next videos. Look, there's why the Jews are not the chosen people. You got Piers Morgan there, debating probably the Trump recent inauguration, and you got some woman there with her cooch hanging out, which is like, a clickbait video, obviously, and so and so. And then we've got some Egyptian artifacts that some people would describe as, technology that we don't understand, and probably was created by aliens. That's the world we live in now. So fast, so many new ideas, like cutting an onion and having a look at the sequential rings that emit from the centre. That's the world we live in today. It's so fast and things change so quickly. With regards to Trump, he's done over 100 executive orders. He's threatened to make Canada, the 51st state of America. He wants to claim Greenland, and he's going to end the war in the Ukraine within 24 hours. Well, 24 hours are almost up, and people are still fighting over there more than ever now. And okay, credit due, some of those hostages in Israel have been returned, and the aid trucks, 500 aid trucks, are moving into Gaza right now, which is a good thing, because not everybody is hostile to each other, and especially is the case in Gaza right now. A lot of suffering. If you watch videos of it, it's knocked down to rubble. And we've seen the same happen in Ukraine, and it's a bizarre world that we live in. And people are not interested in the natural anomalies that are taking place with Earth. They've lost sight and touch of that, because there is so much going on in social media and mainstream media. People will say, "Oh my God, look at what Elon Musk did when Trump was having his inauguration, and he managed to get up on the podium and start talking. Then he started doing these Nazi salutes." Well, maybe he was just giving his heart out to people. And I'm not making any excuses here, but maybe that was what he was doing genuinely. Giving his heart out to people, saying that, what we've done is crossed a milestone. But people will interpret it as they see it. And we know in this day and age that, everyone's got their own opinion. And it's very hard to get a consecutive decision made on a specific thing. So it's really hard. And I've got people that I subscribe to, and it's getting to the point where I can't listen to them anymore. I just don't want to hear it. And I think that maybe have I been focusing on all the negative things in life and not the things that I should have recently? Is it time for a change? And I think it is, more than anything. And all these conspiracies and the people that I subscribe to, I have started unsubscribing to them, I'll be fair, because I can't listen to it anymore. I know what I'm concerned about in life, and I know that everyone else has got their own opinion and what they're concerned about in life. But for most of us, we're being distracted by the cost of living, which is just, erupting out of control. And it's not a Western issue or a European issue, or even in China. I've seen people on some of the videos I've watched today. They bought a house in a particular province in China, and they paid 300,000 UN for the apartment, and now they've had to sell it recently for 30,000 UN, and they've described it as like everything they've worked for the last 8 years has been written off. You know, they've had to start from scratch. And that's the world we live in today. We know that these governments that are in control, that are giving, you know, the taxpayers' money away from that particular country to other countries to say that it's funding, it's charity of some sorts, but we know it's coming back to those people, the majority of that money, and it's waxing them rich that give it in the first place. And this is how they write off taxpayers' money, and it's unacceptable. And I'm sure you guys are aware of this, what's happening. And you know, this is one thing that's not going to go down with us all, because we've seen this in our history repeat many times over. This is what brings down empires, and it's going to bring down this empire for sure if it continues. And Donald Trump, for a lot of people, is like a little beacon of light, you know, saying that he's going to bring back jobs to America, he's going to bring back you know, lower taxes, you know, and a lot of other things. You know, he's going to shut the border and stop the immigration and all that. But we'll just see. But, you know, we saw what he achieved in the 4 years previous to Biden, and let's see what we see this time round. Is he really genuinely concerned about the people of that country? And, you know, is he prepared to you know, change things so that life does become better? We're just going to have to wait and see. But right now, what we see is no support for people that have had their houses burnt down in Los Angeles, California. You know, for a few of those people, you know, they have been victims also, not after losing the house, but terrible people, you know, arriving in mass numbers, looting their remaining belongings. You couldn't imagine that, you know, human beings would treat each other like this. But, you know, I suppose when the haves have things that the have-nots got, you know, and there's an opportunity, there's the inclination, and there's the motivation to take those things, they will do that. And that is why I said, you know, just before the new year, 2025 is not going to be a better year. It's going to be a absolute terrible year. And if Biden, Trump is persistent in his tariffs on other countries, then you are going to see an absolute increase in inflation in America, which is going to reflect all around the world as well. Because if he starts putting up, you know, 25% tariffs on this country, on that country, 100% tariffs on China, then who's going to pay for that at the end of the day? Americans. And it's going to be like, you know, oh, we've just discovered a new way of taxing our citizens. So, you know, civil wars are going to start breaking out. I believe Elon Musk when he said that, you know, in Europe, how civil war hasn't broken out yet. You know, I don't know. But civil wars are going to break out. Because when you've got nothing and you've got no further back to go in that corner, you know, you've only got one direction to move. And that's forward. And that is, you know, in a flight or survival manner. Which I know a lot of people are becoming accustomed to. You know, we're living in a world where, you know, the simple things are becoming the hardest things to obtain. And, to hell with science at the moment. That's the mentality of people. I get it. You know what? I can go on lots of these channels where they flash the cooch, like in that video description there. It's clickbait, but people will click it, to have a look, and because their inquisitiveness, and they'll watch it. But as all this is happening, relationships are failing because that's what's being promoted. That there needs to be a big reverse on that. People don't care about relationships. They don't care about other people. Women have, and men have seen this. Women have got a mentality of, I get to 30 years old. I've been with Chad, many times, different Chads, and now I'm 30. It's time to settle down and have kids, and men just don't want to know, because the word's got around that that women are just going to marry you at this point in time and take your belongings off you, because the court systems are up for that. If I can get a kid out of him, I've got him on the hook for 18 years, 20 years. And that's why the whole thing at the moment couldn't be at its worst. It's like looking at a stale piece of bread, the world right now. Lots of mould all over it, and it's decaying, and I don't know what it's going to take to polish it up like a lovely, beautiful, brand new silver spoon. I don't know. But people right now are not interested in the magnetic reversal. They've lost interest. At the point where the magnetic reversal is migrating faster now than ever. We're still going to keep a record of all the data we collect, and we've got 5 years of it now. It will be the most magnified data that has ever been collected on this anomaly, ever. That's something new that we're doing now, and we've been doing for 5 years. And then when it actually does reverse, we will have a 3-second resolution of everything that happened. Every 3 seconds we collected data on it, which is unique. Nobody else has done that in this world. Absolutely no other observatory, no other person, but we have, and we still do it, even though we don't talk so much about it these days because of all what's going on. All the things that catch our attention, like the recent inauguration of Trump again coming back into force. But just when I say there's going to be civil unrest, and the reason why it is because it's been provoked, guys. It's been absolutely provoked. When you hear Biden, giving pardons to Fauci, Nancy Pelosi, and a lot of other people in his family, what they're doing. What they're up to. They have lost face value at that point, especially when they said that they would never do that because it would be unjust, and then they do it. Typical hypocrisy, and that's exactly what we see taking place in this world. People that say they will never do something but end up doing it. That would be, wrong to do that, but then they end up doing it. Everyone that's been pardoned should be unpardoned, in my view. Why would you pardon, your son, Hunter Biden? Joe, why would you do that? Because you're protecting him from the justice system. And what are you showing people when you do that? That the justice system is for one person and not for another. And it's obviously not for Hunter Biden. You know, it's just for the working class who are already being rubbed in the mud and the dirt. And the sweat of our labour is waxing you rich. And that's wrong. But that's the world we're living in now. And, you know, it'll be an interesting year. And, you know, I'm interested to observe what goes on this year, because I know it's not going to be improved in any means or form. You know, I couldn't, and I'm not going to talk about my personal situation, but I couldn't have started this new year off at a worse tone. I really couldn't, for my private particular reasons. And you know why I won't mention them anymore? Because of, you know, evil and wicked and nasty and horrible people would just, you know, U-turn it and say, oh, that's what you're doing here, you're just trying to make money out of us. Well, no, there's no shop, there's no merchandise. I've been on this platform for over a decade, you know, 10 years. I've never done that before. So why would I, you know, come up with gimmicks to make money? I wouldn't do it. And I'm not going to mention why. But that's the sort of world we live in. And, you know, people need to, I think people need to pause. Take, you know, one day out for themselves this weekend, if you're working, you know. Take at least a couple of hours out of your time and just think about how you can try in the best possible way to make your life better. However you can. Don't worry about everybody else. Just take a bit of time out for yourself and ask yourself, how can I make my life better? And work on it. Even if you just do a little thing each day and work on that, you know, that is just like I say with the bug out bag. You know, even if you've got just a few preps, you know, put away, that is better than having nothing. You know, obviously, the majority of those people, I would say, mostly all of them in Canada, in California and Los Angeles, didn't get to see any of my videos. Because, you know, you've got thousands of people that lost their houses that are looking for somewhere to sleep tonight. Some of them are in tents and without, you know, a roof over their head. And at this time of the year, in the cold, not good. And that's what we got. So, you know, God be with them people. I'm sure he will be. And, you know, I'm going to end the video here, guys. And there's a link down there. And it's entirely up to you. I really don't care anymore. You know, the money that we raise on this channel is irrelevant now. Got to that point. It really has got to that point. So it doesn't matter if you want to chip in a few bucks or not. You know, it has never been mandatory. So it's entirely up to you. But the link is down there in the description. And, you know, the only other thing I've got to say to you is really what I always say in every video. You take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.